Okay, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe before we get any further into this video. I just want to make sure to say that make sure you guys like and subscribe and hit the notification so you guys know whenever we upload a video. And guys, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the recent support on the coco video. I'm planning to drop what if takemichi was kazutora later on this week, because I just got my vaccine at my school today, and I checked my channel and I realized that it got way over the amount that I thought it would get. In just 3 weeks, it has over 100 views and 10 likes. It's not much to certain people, but I appreciate it, and that's the main reason why I'm doing coco this what if, because I was planning to do whichever what if that did the best, and I realized that I was gonna give it some time, and I made script for both of them. But yeah, so more than likely the next part of Kazutora will be later on. So let's get started in this video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So where we guys left off, it was a cliffhanger with both Inupi and Akun fighting Coco, in which we saw the display of power showed by Takemichi, but Coco still didn't think that Takemichi was powerful enough to take on both Inupi and Akun. But he was surely mistaken. But let's get further on into this what if. So we started off with Coco trying to fight both Inupi and Akun. But out of nowhere, they would see Takemichi run in with a spin kick, which would hit Akun in the side of the head, which would send Akun flying. Which in turn, Takemichi would turn to Coco and said, "I will be taking on Akun. You can take on Inupi." And may I remind you that Coco is as strong as Inupi, a bit stronger than Inupi, which means that he was actually struggling very much. He was struggling pretty badly against both of them, which Takemichi realized and decided he was gonna take on Akun. And I may remind you as well that Akun is not stronger than Inupi. He's more flexible, more speed, and those stuff, which allows him to hit more, and dodge. So, yep. So, Akun and Takemichi would go one side, and Coco and Inupi would go another side. So, let's start off with Coco and Inupi's battle. So Coco would run at Inupi with a pipe swing. He would swing it, and Inupi would block it and try to grab it away. But Coco would end up kicking Inupi in the stomach, which would end up sending him a few feet back. Coco would run at Inupi and jump in the air and swing the metal pole down towards Inupi's head. Inupi would block it and then kick Coco in the ribs, which would send Coco flying a few meters, which would give Inupi enough time to recover. After Inupi recovers, he would run and grab Coco by the hand and throw him over his back and slam him into the ground and try to stomp on him, but Coco would end up rolling away, grabbing the pole once again and sweeping Inupi's leg, which would in turn give Coco and Inupi enough time to recover. Both of them would run at each other again. Inupi punch Coco while Coco swing the bat, which would do a lot more damage than Inupi's fist. But nonetheless, we're not saying that, yo. Let me just remind you something. Inupi isn't any pushover. That's one thing I want to say, to point out right now. His fist is very strong, but what I'm trying to say right now is that Coco is very strong when it comes down to weapon. So let's continue. So all of them would end up fighting for a while. I meant Coco and Inupi would start fighting for a while. So let's go over to Takemichi and Akun's fight. Akun would run at Takemichi, does a front flip kick or a spinning kick. So that would hit him in the head, which Takemichi, I should say, would end up blocking it, surprising Akun, I should say. Why am I mixing up the names? Surprising Akun. And then Takemichi would grab Akun's feet and spin him around, throwing Akun in the ground, which Takemichi would end up running at Akun and trying to put him in a choke lock. But Akun would end up being able to break out of this and then throwing Takemichi over his shoulder, slamming him in the ground, which Akun would end up kicking Takemichi in the side, sending him flying a few meters. Takemichi would end up getting back with his insane durability. He wouldn't really take too much damage. He would run up and spin roundhouse kick Akun. And a quick note, Takemichi is very durable in the normal story, which would be keeping that, and the fact that he trained with Coco also increases. And I just want to say this real quick. I think if Takemichi learned even the basics of karate, he would be one of the most broken characters in Tokyo Revengers. I'm not saying he would be on the level of Mikey and Draken. I'm not saying that. This man can take beatings from Mikey. From the last chapter that we saw, he could take beatings from Mikey. If you guys haven't watched the manga, I would advise you to skip a few minutes ahead. Skip one time or two times. But yeah, he got pretty badly injured by Mikey. Mikey did Takemichi like how he did Kazutora, but way worse. Senju ended up had to stop it and all those stuff. But let's get back to the story. Takemichi and Akun would continue fighting for a while. I'm not gonna get in depth for the rest of the story because it's not really all that relevant. Just know that Takemichi would end up beating Akun and Inupi would knock out Coco, and Coco would knock out Inupi. Which, when the rest of Inupi and Akun gang come, they would end up seeing Takemichi over Inupi, Coco, and Akun's body, which would end up, they would all be like, let's not mess with this guy, Both of our bosses was beaten by him, and we're pretty sure that, we can go up against our boss. So, and actually win. So, 50 people would already join Takemichi's gang. Takemichi would end up getting 50 people under him, which a few more hours pass and the rest of the fight clubs come, which would end up becoming another 50, which would lead to 100 people in his gang. his gang would call the Ragnaroks. Yeah, I know it's a pretty silly name, but let's just go with it. And should I end the video here? Nah, we only got through that fight. So after a while, the whole Fight Club would end up finishing, and they would be on their way home, and they would see Kiyomasa and his group beating up the rest of Mesa Middle, which is a bit more early, is a lot more earlier than in canon, 1 year earlier to be exact, which Takemichi would be carrying Coco and Inupi would be carrying Akun. Akun and Inupi would end up running in and beating the rest of them, beating up Kiyomasa and his group, which in turn after a few weeks, not after 1 week, Akun, Takemichi, Coco, and Inupi would be friends with the rest of Misa Middle, which would means that Misa Middle would end up being trained. So let me go in detail. Coco would be the more of the guy who sorts out the money in the gang. Coco, as I said, would be the money. The guy who sorts out all the money, distributes it and all the stuff. Inupi would be the duo with Inupi and Akun, and those would be the main three what would you call them, bodyguards of the gang for Takemichi. And then you have the Heavenly Kings, or should I call them what else can I call them? Let's just call them the Heavenly Kings. Or should I call them the deities? Yeah, deities of the Ragnaroks. Deities of the Ragnaroks. Yeah, let's call them the deities of the Ragnaroks. They would all end up, Inupi would end up training the guy with the black hair. I forgot his name. He would end up being more of a brawler. The weakest one would be, all the other ones would train under Akun. The rest of them would train under Akun. Only the black hair guy would train under Inupi. And the glasses one, the one that wear the glasses, he would be trained by both Coco and Akun. Coco would teach him more of the money based part of the gang, and I'm sorry, so so that's a thing. So after a while, their gang would be noticed by Mikey, which, let's not get into that right now. And with that concludes the video. So guys, I hope you guys liked it. I promise I'm gonna come out with part 3. Part 3 is gonna be a real banger because we're gonna get into the main storyline. Because at this point we haven't really get into the main storyline. So guys, see you guys next time. Peace.